Hey, everybody.
Hey there.
Welcome to the Family Reformation Project. This is Randy and Leslie from
Hi.
Cultural Architects. We're so glad that you tuned in
Yeah.
today. We are going to be addressing a specific question today that one of you wrote in on, and I'm just going to read it here off the screen. The question is, where do I even start towards oneness in our family and each other? Great question.
Great question. So why even ask that question, right? Well, God is our designer, right? And he designed family and he designed oneness as his environment for family, right? He and Jesus and Holy Spirit are one. Jesus' prayer, right, in John 17 was that we would be one just like he and the Father was one, and husband and wife become one. And so there's this oneness that is God's idea. What is oneness? Well, oneness is being so intimately in relationship with another person that I empathize with them. I can walk in their shoes with full understanding because of the depth of intimacy, oneness. What affects them affects me. What they feel, I understand and feel. And there's no gap. So no separateness in a way. There's distinctness. Obviously, there's individual people have individual wills. There's distinctness, but there's in the marriage and in the family, there is God's design of oneness. So how do we get to that kind of intimacy? Well, it's only that by creating an environment that is safe, fun, loving, trusting, purposeful, and an environment that it is so easy to be vulnerable that there's not fear of punishment. So we can be and be one. And we have really, it's important, common agreement about who we are, why we're here, how we do things. To the degree that we develop this sense of oneness and intimacy, the family becomes a powerful, powerful place.
Right. And oneness isn't just between a husband and a wife. That
Good.
is a mystery in and of itself. But when we're talking about oneness in the scope of the family, it is everyone in the family is one family.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
Oh, and let me add that doesn't necessarily mean that it's your typical mom and dad and two kids and a cat, right?
Mhm.
Our families look very different
It's
these
true.
days. There's brothers and sisters that form a family. There's grandparents or a single mom or a single dad and kids. They look a bunch of different ways.
Mhm.
So this is not just for the this idyllic picture of what a family looks like.
Yeah. And so what we did in the Family Reformation Project with our family legacy book and workbook and exercises is we took a whole number of exercises and put them in a what we call a protocol. It's a collection of practices to bring oneness in the family, to practice. We're going to get practical now. How to practically make the environment safe and trusting and loving and supportive and fun. There's actually very definite practices, and we put them into exercises. You want to say a little more about that?
Yeah, we in the book, I'm looking down and reading right out of it. The question was, how do you begin to start? And you begin to start by starting to lay that foundation for what healthy family looks like. And this includes things like being kind, being humble, um, that empathetic listening, being teachable, loving, vulnerable, understanding. What it doesn't mean is blaming, um, being fake, being harsh, hateful, or defensive.
Mhm.
It's being consistent and authentic with each other, forgiving, supportive, engaged, truthful, fun, learning how to be a good listener, being present and
Mhm.
aware. Those are just some foundational concepts foundational things that in the scope of a family, you've got to have a foundation that needs to come from that place where I'm in a safe place.
Yeah.
And I can actually come to my family and I can speak out of my heart
Yeah.
without fear of being made wrong. Just being able to share my heart and know that it's safe to do that.
Yeah, and so in the exercises, then we have exercises like how to be aware, right? How, be kind. It's one thing to say, "Oh, be kind, be loving, be fun, be courteous," but how? it takes a bit of awareness and certainly personal responsibility. I have to be aware of how I'm showing up, and I have to be able to govern myself so that I can be less of a jerk and more kind, or I can be less, right, selfish and more other centered. And so there's tools in there called the personal best. First tool in the whole book. How do I live in this way where I'm governing myself well so that I show up strong for myself, God, and others? And then we move on to, what's the family social covenant? In other words, we it's not safe if there's too much uncertainty in the family. So how do we get certainty around how we're going to do things? You want to add to that? Questions?
Yeah, around that, this might look like mom and dad or whoever's head of the family would ask the other members of the family, what do you need from me?
Mhm.
And allow those people in your family to be honest with you with their feedback. We like to use the teenagers as an example. A teenager might say, I need you to not yell at me to do my chores.
You need to trust me more.
Yeah.
And then likewise, the second question is, well, here's what I need from you as the parental figure, what we need from you. And then what do we need from each other? And then here's important. How will we restore broken agreements? In other words, we express what we need from each other and we choose in. So we agree to meet each other's needs that way. We're going to be kind, we're going to be loving, we're going to be authentic. Whatever that is that your agreement is, and what we need from you to listen to us. We're here for your good, or trust us more. We reach a set of agreements. And then when we break those, there has to be a way, and there is a way, and it's all right. It's right in the
Mhm.
work. It involves communication, which is another part, right? The other modules are about how do I listen really effectively so I hear and understand my family members, to not to just respond, but to really know them and empathize with them. And how do I receive what other people in my family say so I don't get all offended? Isn't that a big one? I'm responsible if I get offended or not somebody else. So whatever is said or whatever is done, I am the one who gets to decide how I receive that feedback. And so these are the exercises, along with a number of others, for creating this safe, trusting environment. How do we forgive each other? This is one of the things that probably separate most families the deepest, is unforgiveness.
Yeah.
Something is done, whether it's intentionally or not, and there's a choice made. I'm not going to forgive, or I don't know how to forgive, or I take forever to forget. And there's a tool for that, and a number of other tools. But the whole heart of the EQ protocol is to really create an environment in the home where oneness is possible. And when it's there, and we've begun to experience some of this, it is profound. God's design is always best.
Always best. So again, sorry, I disappeared for a moment. This is from the Family Legacy. This is Randy's book and workbook and the e-course. And why am I disappearing?
Go ahead, keep going.
Sorry, I keep disappearing. I'm actually here, guys.
So if you'd like to know more, you can go to thefamilyreformationproject.com, or you can go to Facebook Family Reformation Project, and you can learn more. You can order the book, workbook, e-course, or you can tune more into the videos and get your questions answered. If you have questions, send them in to us. All right. Office dot culturalarchitects dot or at gmail.com. Hope that came through.
We'll be doing that one again.
No,